Absolute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. The New York Knicks dominate the Atlanta Hawks in the early game tonight. Let's talk about it. The New York Knicks now 49 wins on the season. Playoff bound. Jalen Brunson set to return tomorrow night against Phoenix. But tonight, the New York Knicks were absolutely tenacious on the defensive side and stole the Atlanta Hawks lunch from start to finish. Josh Hart, almost a triple-double, 1 rebound shy. But man, shout out Josh Hart tonight. He was fantastic. And Campaign returned. But Delon Wright continued to get the start. But like I said, JB is confirmed to be back tomorrow against Phoenix in his long-awaited return. I can't wait, man. We're in playoff mode right now. It's money time. And Karl-Anthony Towns finished with 30 points. He was absolutely dominant. And the New York Knicks shot over 50% from downtown, as well as 32 team assists. The ball was moving. The players were grooving. But OG Anunoby continues to play out of his mind, man. Aggressive, getting into the paint, using his physicality and his size to dominate that matchup and get down low. Right, the Knicks are playing great basketball right now, fam, and it's at the perfect time. Welcoming Chris Paula, salute orange and blue skies, 3rd seed, basically a lock. Now we just have to find out who we're going to play, and we're going to talk about that tonight. We've got March Madness Final Four hitting soon as well. After this stream, I'm going to get on and watch the action with the Gators and Auburn. But with tonight, man, today, the New York Knicks took care of business, man. No letdown. Wire-to-wire victory. And OG Anunoby. His body language, we've got to start there. Because right now, OG looks like he's playing free. Obviously there's so much talk about with Brunson being out. Obviously you take away one ball-dominant player and there's more touches, more opportunities for other guys to showcase what they can do. And if you had to grade OG Anunoby during this entire 15-game stretch with Brunson set to return tomorrow, I mean, you've got to give OG an A++, man. He's stepped up in the major way in terms of playing the best basketball of his career right now. This is a guy that's been in the league, 8 years now, 7, 8 years, been to the finals with the Raptors, and to be playing his best basketball right now. I mean, what a contract. What a player we have, ladies and gentlemen, with the playoffs set to hit. I mean, he is one of our most important players, and he was absolutely all over the place today. And he'll get one of the game balls. I'm going to give out 3 game balls in this one. As the New York Knicks took care of business, shot over 50% from downtown. That's what I love. The ball movement, 32 assists to Atlanta's 24 as well. We forced Georgia's Niang to take the most field goal attempts on the Hawks. And the Knicks were getting up in the grills of Atlanta players. They were hedging. No drop coverage in this one. There was a lot of hedging and a lot of icing the pick. And the Knicks shot 53% from the field as well, 82% from the free throw. Won the fast break points. And you got to love it, man. The ball movement was great. And the New York Knicks were up 25 points at the half. We're going to talk about Tibbs because he should have taken Hart. He should have taken OG out of the game. No doubt about it. Late, the Knicks were up 20 with 4 minutes remaining, 3 minutes remaining, and he still kept Hart out there, OG out there. Possibly those guys will rest tomorrow, right? I think it'd be smart to give OG a rest, right? Second of a back-to-back. No Mitch today as well, so Mitch will probably play tomorrow. Maybe Cat might rest. But the wins don't really mean much no more, fam. We've basically got the 3rd seed on lock. And we have to look ahead. The Knicks have to be smart about these remaining How many games now, man? We've got five. We've got five remaining. The Knicks have to be smart about these five remaining. So, what up, chat? Tendrell, CC, yours truly, Walter, in the house. I see you. Great to have you guys. Welcome in. Smash that like button. How are you feeling about this win today? Right. The New York Knicks, 78 first half points, were the second most scored this season in a half, behind their 83-point half against the Grizzlies back in January 27. So the Knicks are clicking. You love to see it. It's money time. Walter says, can we play this way tomorrow? We should play this way every night. We should play this way every game, man. Ball movement, player movement, defensive adjustments. I saw defensive adjustments today because we're taking the ball out of Trey's hand, getting up on the 3-point line. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come, fam. We take a look at the shot chart, and then we'll bring up the box score and give out the rest of these grades tonight. But look at the shot chart from the team. What sticks out to you, man? Dishing, swishing, whole lot of points in the paint and 3-point buckets, man. That's what the modern NBA is all about, man. Mid-range assassins, not liking this one, but it's all 3-point buckets and points in the paint. Efficient today, man. It was excellent. And Hart, man, would have picked up his 10th triple-double on the season had he got one more rebound. But maybe that's why Tibbs left him out there. But OG should have come out the ball game. Nevertheless, their minutes were solid. 32 for Hart, 34 for OG. Campaign's return and Landry's minutes being up to 30 did help. Right. Shout out Landry Shamet as well. We're going to hit on the bench later, but 12 points off the bench. Continues to hit some shots. 40% from downtown from Landry. That is big time. We're going to need that in the postseason. 6 points from Achua and 3 points in Payne's return. Welcome back, Campaign. Delon Wright continues to be a revelation, in my opinion, off the start. Delon Wright, 4 of 7, 2 of 4 from 3, 10 points, plus 18, with 2 dimes, 2 steals, and a rebound. Does Delon Wright deserve playoff rotation minutes? In my opinion, he does. Right, in my opinion, I've seen enough. Delon Wright will get the A for me in this one. It's no coincidence. The ball's moving well. He's not looking for his shot, but he's also still a threat. That's the perfect mix, guys, when you're not hunting a shot as the point guard, but you're also ready to get into the paint when you need, break down the defense, get that ball moving. I like what I'm seeing from Delon Wright, man. 2 steals once again. The guy's been a steal machine, and he's a defensive first kind of guy. Yet Paula agrees. Tibbs kept the players in. I don't understand. In terms of tomorrow, maybe some of these guys are going to rest. Possibly. That's why I've given Tibbs a B- because, a fantastic game from the ball club. Wire-to-wire victory. Positive vibes today, but Tibbs should have taken the starters out earlier. James Baker, I see you, agrees. Yours truly, salute. James agrees with the Delon Wright situation. Delon should back up Brunson now. He offers something different. Campaign, I'm not going to throw shade because Cam's been really much needed, important player this season, scoring and being that spark plug, energy off the bench. But playoff ball, it's going to be all about grind down defense, man. 90s style, get stops, physicality. The 2 steals from Delon Wright, that's as good as getting a bucket in today's NBA because most steals result in a 3 or a transition layup, dunk. So you got to factor that in as well. But Delon Wright's been hitting the 3 ball as well. 2 of 4 from downtown. Right. That's exactly what Campaign was doing earlier in the season. But Delon Wright just a bit more balanced with his D. Let us know what you guys think. CC agrees. Delon can play also off the ball. JB was done before it was JB was in Dallas. Yeah, that's a great point, man. JB and Delon Wright were teammates. You know, they were teammates back in Dallas. So there's some of that chemistry together. But look, Tibbs continues to start Delon Wright, even though Payne is healthy. Before he was starting Payne, before JB went down, right? And so when Payne got injured, then he had to activate Delon Wright. But it's interesting today, he starts Delon Wright still as Payne's working his way back. But the Knicks were dynamite defensively. You guys just notice a different energy when Delon Wright's been out there. The Knicks have been a much better defensive team on the perimeter over these last 6 games now. Delon Wright's been starting ever since that Milwaukee game where he got the first start. I think the Knicks have only lost 1 game since then. Welcome in chat. Johnny's in the building. Knicks Nation rocking out today. Blessings. And the Knicks playoff run is about to start. Tomorrow night we've got the 5th last game of the season. Phoenix. We're going to take a look at the standings. But the New York Knicks are basically locked up the 3rd seed right now. Going to check out some NCAA Final Four after this. But for the most part, the Knicks were dominant today. Off the bench, Landry Shamet gets a B+. I'll give Precious and Cam a B. Right? They contributed. They weren't standouts, but they contributed. And it was a full 8-man effort today. McCullough got in for a little bit. But Tibbs still loves that 8-man rotation, man. I'm kind of nervous, man. He loves that 8-man rotation, which could mean maybe he goes down to 7 when the playoffs start, man. He'll be ridiculed if he does, and deservedly so. I can't see him going down to 7, man. That'd be ugly, man, in the playoffs. I know there's no back-to-backs. I know that there is rest. And guys got to go sell out to get a win. But what do you guys think? 7, 8, 9? Wishful thinking, possibly. How big is Tibbs' rotation going to be for the playoffs? Let us know. With JB set to return, confirmed by Ian Begley, Chris Haynes first on it, and Jalen Brunson returning tomorrow back at MSG against the Suns, fam. Obviously, I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to get that rest. I think Mitch will get activated because he's been, alternating between Mitchie and Cat between these back-to-backs. But obviously, Brunson gets the start. What does he do with Delon Wright, man? Tomorrow's going to tell all because you have to start Brunson. You're not bringing Brunson off the bench. So Brunson will get the start, I would feel, tomorrow. Delon Wright probably go back to situational if I'm guessing. It's not what I would do, but I think he's going to go with Cam Payne. Something tells me. And reading the tea leaves, he's been talking about, believing in setting your rotation early like Tibbs does. He's very regimented and very rigid in terms of, a player will show out and he'll just say, nah, look, I've set my rotation already. It's Cam Payne. And nothing changes his mind. I'll be surprised, maybe does, but, Leopard don't change its spots, usually. And I do think we'll see Jalen Brunson start tomorrow. And I do think we'll see Cam Payne as the backup. And Wright will go back to situational, unfortunately, for him. Because he's been excellent. He's been excellent. But look, great news to get the captain back. And I'm so happy because 15 games, man. It's been gone like a flash, man. 15 games that Brunson has been out. Not only has he been rehabilitating, but he's also been getting rest, which is key. He's going to be one of the most fresh players heading into the playoffs in terms of a major player, right? How many players are just coming back now after 15 games break? Now, obviously, I think he's been meticulous in rehabbing and he won't return unless he's 100%. So I expect him to look like the old Jalen Brunson, not be hesitating, not be tentative on the ankle. And I think he's going to put on a show tomorrow, right? I think Mitch will be back. Cat will probably sit. Cat was playing around with his fingers tonight. Looked like he jarred one of his hand on a loose ball. But the knee, we all know that Karl Anthony Towns needs to rest up those knees, and especially a back-to-back. I feel like tomorrow, we won't see Cat tomorrow with JB returning. Buzzer beaters in the building. It must be money time. And some stats for you all. The best record in games with 30 plus points this season. The New York Knicks will now go. Actually, how many points did OG get today? OG finished with 24 points. Nevertheless, the New York Knicks are 5-0 when OG Anunoby's been scoring 30 points this season, right? Earlier in the season, November, the Knicks had the best offense in the NBA. All the other months, it's been Celtics, Cavaliers, 2 months, and the Thunder for the last 2 months. So the New York Knicks are one of only 4 teams with the best offense during the month of the season back in November. But the New York Knicks offense has been a well-oiled machine for this last month, fam. Obviously, we have ticked over into April right now. Yesterday, big news came out with OG Anunoby declaring that he is a first-team All-NBA guy. But not only that, he should win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, OG Anunoby, 4 stocks today, putting up 24 points. Baby Kawhi, man. Some say even prime Kawhi. A++, OG Anunoby has just been a two-way demon right now. And I feel like the playoffs are going to continue. And he's going to showcase what he can do on the biggest stage. 1 steal, 3 blocks today, plus 24 in the plus minus, and getting to the rack. 4 or 5 from the field, 4 or 5 from the stripe, and 9 of 17 from the field. What's sticking out to you with OG Anunoby, man? I think it's physicality. I think, like I said, the free throws. He's getting to the bucket. I think the lane is probably a little bit more open because Brunson's not out there driving, handling like he does. I think OG Anunoby's been getting on-ball reps more. Shot attempt 17, right? He's been able to get into a rhythm, and I think that's a big thing because these are all talented ball players, fam. In terms of when a player just gets more shots and they can get in a rhythm, I think that's a case of a player's percentages will increase. The more shots they get, especially during the game in rhythm, and they can expect where their looks are going to come. Shout out to the point guards as well. Delon Wright, like I said, pass first guy, 32 team assists. I think all of those things have really helped OG. Johnny says Brunson is the icing on the dime cake. Let's get it. Also, smart players like JB sees what's working. He'll be the lubrication to help the Knicks like OG and Bridges continue the winning ways. I hope so, fam. I hope so. But obviously in the playoff spot, he's captain clutch as well. So hopefully he gets the ball moving, 4th quarter, and guys are still in rhythm. But we're going to see a lot of takeover, I still feel. That's what Tibbs' offense is all about. Yeah. Lionel says Tibbs is also strong-headed. He'll go with campaign instead of Delon Wright. Me, I'd rather see Wright. 100%. I mean, I'm watching, Knicks Twitter and, Knicks Nation saying most people would prefer Delon Wright over Cam. And I think it's clear to see because it's exactly what the team needs. We have shot makers. We just have to get them involved, Like even getting Karl Anthony Towns going is a major key, you know, to winning a playoff series, right? We all know Brunson can put up 30 in his sleep. But what about Cat? What about OG? What about Hart? What about Bridges? We have to get everyone going. And tonight, look at that box score, man. Today, it's so pretty. Seeing Hart with 16, OG with 24, Cat with 30, Bridges with 20, Delon Wright with 10, Shamet with 12. That's one of the best box scores of the season today. Now, I know it's against the play-in Hawks. However, they're still a play-in team. They're not quite a lottery team. However, the Knicks were just locked in, man. The Knicks were locked in. Salute Bob, CT, man, Cat, 10 of 15. Shorting 66% from 3. And the field goal percentage. Locked in, man, 10 of 15. I love to see that, Bob. 3 attempts from downtown as well. For those that are just joining us, welcome in. I'm going to bring up the shot chart once again. We take a look at also how pretty this is, fam. This is the modern NBA, and we need to see it because stretched out, dominating from the paint, restricted area, and also the three-point line, man. Minimal mid-range. And this is a very fast-paced game, early tempo, early start, fast tempo. But I do think that the New York Knicks are really in playoff mode, and they're enjoying the ball movement. But Delon Wright has changed a lot, right? We cannot gloss over what's changed. Yes, Brunson is out, but Delon Wright has been starting and 2 steals today. Those are as good as buckets as far as I'm concerned. Anytime you get a steal, it's as good as a 3 or a layup because most of the time it ends up in transition. And he's got, 6'9" wingspan at the point guard, 6'5". He can see over the defense a little bit. He can, bump the other point guard back on their spot, keep them off the three-point line. Delon Wright has to play. He has to play. What's up, David? Good win, CT. I hope all the guys are ready to come in playoff time, but it was good to get this kind of win against the Hawks in ATL. Really good, really good. Only 5 games remain. Good to see all these guys smiling, grooving and moving in rhythm. And I think, you want to be playing your best basketball heading into the playoffs. And right now it's key because there is going to be a little break after the conclusion of the regular season. There's going to be about, 5, 6, 7 days before the Knicks will play game 1 due to the play-ins that have got to take place. But after that, the Knicks will be locked in. They'll get plenty of practice. And the fact that I'm giving out 3 game balls speaks that not really one player was the standout, the major standout. There was the starting 5, the 8-man rotation was the standout in this one. What's up, Shez V? Says Tibbs utilized 9 players. Well, really it was 8. It was 8, fam, unfortunately, because Kevin McCullough basically, played 1 minute towards the end. But back to my earlier question, guys, what do you think? I think Tibbs is going to cut it down to maybe 7 in the playoffs right now. He might keep it to 8, but just the fact that he's not expanding it right now has me thinking that maybe Precious loses minutes. Maybe he goes with Deuce and Mitch. Maybe he goes with Deuce, Shamet, and Mitch. It's hard to see him go Shamet, Payne, Deuce, and Mitch. But I'll be happy if he does because we need a 9-man rotation, in my opinion. It's going to be a tough, grueling playoff run. It's not just the first round you got to worry about. It's the second round, the third round, whatever happens after that. Buzzer Beater says, what time is it? You know what time it is. It's money time. CC says, Delon brings congruent play to the starters. I like that. Look, he's a savvy vet. You know, he's been through playoff battles. He's been on Dallas. He's been on the Raptors. He's been on the Miami Heat. He's been on the Milwaukee Bucks. He's been all over the place, man. He's been around the block, as Delon Wright. But one thing that stays the same is the guy can get a steal. He can set some teammates up. And right now, kind of to my surprise, he's hitting the three ball. You know, I mean, inject this into my veins, fam. OG block, Delon Wright layup. And this one gets out in transition. I said when we picked him up, it adds balance because, yeah, people thought, oh, you know, why are we getting another point guard, man? We don't need a point guard. We've got 5 already. But really, the man is versatile. He can guard the 1, he can guard the 2, he can guard the 3. He's 6'5". So it just goes to show a lot of people don't really watch the NBA a whole lot, pay attention. I mean, this guy was a demon on the Heat. He was definitely a guy that was a pretty big part of their playoff run back when they went to the finals, I think, when they upset the Bucks in the first round. Fam. Obviously, yeah, you guys are on point. The chat mentioned earlier, Delon Wright was a teammate of JB, you know, in Dallas. So those two could be playing off of each other. Let's see how that plays out. Also, maybe looking ahead, David says, wouldn't be surprised if Wright gets re-signed and we let Cameron Payne walk. Won't be surprised too, fam. The Knicks are laying the groundwork for next season. We have an update in regards to PJ Tucker, fam. According to Keith Smith, the second year of PJ Tucker's 2-year deal with us is both a team option and non-guaranteed. Phew. Everyone can breathe a sigh of relief, fam. I see so many people freaking out over the PJ Tucker 2-year deal thing. You got to trust the front office, guys. You got to trust Brock Aller, man. These guys are prudent, frugal with the money. They ain't careless. They ain't just handing out 2-year deals, right? Guaranteed deals, right? I see so many people freak out. But yeah, the second year of PJ's deal is a team option and non-guaranteed. And even if the Knicks picked up PJ Tucker's second year option, the contract will then still be non-guaranteed until the league-wide guarantee date of January, which means it's basically a walking trade machine. It's a walking trade request, trade salary. So the Knicks are laying the groundwork for next season, right? Plus, PJ Tucker's a good locker room guy, and so yeah, they bring him in, and it's a case of you know, they can facilitate his deal, a potential deal as a salary filler. Now we have an unfortunate update. Although the positive news that Jalen Brunson's going to set to return tomorrow against Phoenix, unlike that, Ariel Hukporti is a ways away, unfortunately, according to Tibbs, which mean that either the meniscus recovery, you know, hasn't been as rapid as we expected, but obviously it is a bit of a tough blow because it was expected to be 4 to 6 weeks. However, right now, according to yesterday's report, James Edwards of The Athletic reports here, Tibbs on Hukporti, he's a ways away. And so I've spoken to some people, the meniscus thing can be up to 3 months, some people feel. So maybe the 4 to 6 week timeline was more of an early, you know, optimistic outlook. But unfortunately, yeah, we might not see Hukporti until later in the playoffs. Maybe not the first round. Maybe he'll be available for the second round. Who knows? But a ways away could be a lot of things. It could be 10 days away. It could be 30 days away. But that is the latest update for you all guys on Ariel Hukporti. He's a ways away. But JB is set to return tomorrow. What's the rotation going to be like? I think it's going to be Cam Payne as the backup. JB gets the starting spot back. And I do think that, unfortunately, Delon Wright will probably go back to situational. And by the way, Tyler Kolek has already been back to situational. We can't forget about his contributions during this run, right? There he is, Kolek back on the bench. You know, good opportunity for the rookie, I think, to really give him a meaningful stretch that he can use that and build on that for the off season in regards to Tyler Kolek. But I don't think he's going to get any playoff run currently, with probably 3 point guards now ahead of him in Brunson, Payne, and Wright. And how could I forget about Deuce McBride? Deuce McBride possibly set to return as well tomorrow. So yeah, that's another guy that's ready and almost on the comeback. Buzzer says we just need 2 more wins to break last year's record now and surpass the 50-win season. I think we will. I think we'll definitely win tomorrow, fam. I think we'll probably win one of the Boston or Cleveland ones because they'll be resting, and we'll beat Brooklyn. We might beat Detroit as well. So I predicted about 52. 52. Possibly we get 53. David, what's up? Says we got to get one of these against Cleveland or Boston before the playoffs. Yeah, I think that would be good for psyche. I think that would be good. It doesn't matter who they play in terms of the rotation, whether Phoenix, whether Celtics are resting or Cleveland are resting guys. I think it's just a good confidence building situation. But yeah, we need to talk more about the first round. I mean, it's looking like it could be Detroit. Maybe I went a little bit too early on the Milwaukee thing, because Milwaukee and Detroit play each other twice in the final 2 games. And so I think that it'll probably be in Detroit's best interest to try to lose those 2 and face the Knicks, according to what they think. And Milwaukee will want to win those 2 against Detroit so that they can play Indiana, because they've been swept by us and they know that they can't beat us. And so they'll probably be gunning in those 2 games against Detroit to try to get the matchup against Indiana. And the reverse for Detroit. I think Detroit know that they can beat Indiana, but they'll be like, against those 2 games against Milwaukee, they'll be like, why do we bother when we've won the season series against the Knicks? What do you guys think? Maybe some mind games. It's just crazy how the schedules worked out. How Milwaukee and the Pistons play each other twice. In regards to the rotation, 7 is way too tight. I agree. It's way too tight, fam. We have to keep guys fresh. He's a true Swiss Army. Is Delon Wright? Yeah, the biggest thing that surprised me is knocking down the 3. I heard a lot from Milwaukee fans saying, yeah, we won't miss him, he can't shoot. He's not been able to do nothing. But, shout out to the man, 2 of 4 from downtown. Now, he is getting most of them open looks because they're ignoring him. But, I mean, he's a better 3-point shooter than Hart. Peter says, PCT, Tibbs ain't resting nobody. His brain doesn't work like that. Yeah, I think tomorrow, I think Mitch will be back, though. Cat will rest because they've been doing that on the back-to-back. But in terms of the playoffs, Tibbs is going to be playing major minutes for these guys. I see Wright playing, says CC. That's optimistic. I just don't see where he fits in the rotation with Tibbs. But I would play him. I would play him ahead of Campaign, no doubt. I want to see lineups of Wright with Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson. Imagine that, fam. Imagine that. That's at the top, one of the top lineups that I want to see. Delon Wright, Deuce McBride, Bridges, OG, and Mitchell Robinson. Fam. that's going to have teams in a straitjacket. And it's definitely going to, guard the 3-point line. Let's say Boston, we want to run them off the 3-point line. Man, you got Bridges and OG with backed up by Mitch guarding the paint on those drives. You got Delon Wright and Deuce McBride fighting over the screens with their hands in the passing lanes. Sign me up. Sign me up for that, man. Like I said, Campaign's a different kind of guy. We don't need his shoot first mentality. Now it helped us throughout the regular season at various points, but Landry's hitting shots now, and Delon can knock down the open shot. And OG's productivity has gone up as well. So that's my thoughts on that. But you guys are on point. You guys agree. You guys are on fire tonight. Continuous soup, says Johnny for PJ Tucker. Amen. Absolutely. Locker room guy. But yeah, it helps to have that non-guaranteed contract that you can trade. No doubt about it. The Knicks are planting the seed for what they're going to do in the summer. Don't forget, the Karl-Anthony Towns thing was in the works for a minute. Won't be surprised if they're already talking about Kevin Durant scenarios, to propose. Not saying it's a done deal. I'm just saying, every team's working on their proposals right now. Because when Kevin Durant is up for grabs, teams will be having to put bids in. And there is mutual interest as well. CC likes that lineup. Yeah, defensive mentality. Also allows Mitch the wings to have that backup fallback with Mitch behind them as well. That is key. But also Mitch having those wings in front of him, guarding the perimeter as well. Look, the key to our success, there's going to be so much breakdowns when we get our opponents. I'm going to do previews and player v player matchups. But one of the overarching keys to our playoff success, fam, is just to guard the perimeter, fam. Today was a great step in the right direction in terms of the drop, and we were getting up on the pick and roll. Obviously, we know that Trae Young can really get loose with the 3-point ball. And today the Knicks did not give them any space, fam. But we were also getting the steals, getting out in transition, and it opened up our 3-point game. It opened up our 3-point shot today, and it was 51% from downtown as well. Landry Shamet, 4 of 10. Wright, 2 of 4. Mikal, 2 of 3. Cat, 2 of 3. OG, 2 of 4 as well. Hart, 2 of 2 for Josh Hart from downtown. And he gets one of the game balls as well. And just 1 rebound shy of a triple dub. Fam. Also, some defensive adjustments. Like James L. Edwards says here, as I repeated before, George Niang was a team high in shot attempts for ATL. So that lets us know that we were getting the ball out of, the danger man. We were getting the ball out of their hands with Trae Young and also Ricochet, not getting as many shots up as George Niang. So we're seeing some defensive adjustments. We're seeing our 3-point ball go up. But still, the rotation worries me a little bit in regards to what Tibbs is going to do. As I mentioned, tomorrow I would rest Cat. Mitch is most likely going to be in the lineup because he rested today. I think Deuce will return tomorrow as well. Also, obviously Brunson back tomorrow. Delon Wright probably goes back out of the rotation. Let's see. I'm going to be on here. We're going to be on here chopping it up tomorrow night. Join us post-game. But I think that Delon Wright will probably go back to situational. But man, he's been doing a great job. The ball's been moving. Look at Bridges. Look at OG's stretch offensively. Today, Cat got going, which is basically the icing on the cake. Cat 10 of 15, efficient, 30 points on 11 rebounds, 2 offensive, got 3 dimes, and was a team high plus 27 in just 32 minutes as well. So amazing. 2 steals from Delon Wright, 4 of 7. What a pickup. What a pickup. Considering the fact that Jericho Sims wouldn't be playing, to get a guy that could possibly help us in the playoffs in a rotation, there's key. That is going to be key to the playoffs. But if not, look, Deuce McBride would assume Delon Wright's defensive productivity. G Money, it's a solid game from the tip on the nose, meaning the start of meaning the start to the behind the meaning to the end. Yep. I think it was a great start, wire to wire victory on the road. You love to see that. We don't get it very often, and the Hawks just, I mean, they're missing some guys, but basically it was dominant. The New York Knicks dominated. I mean, most of the game it was 30 points, and they cut it down to about 20. But yeah, Tibbs didn't take some of the guys out. They gave a huge effort today in this first night of a back-to-back. Let's look ahead now, ladies and gentlemen, to the game tomorrow and the playoff matchups. Now, today's shot chart, once again, all 3-point looks, points in the paint, restricted area, and not many mid-range attempts. And if so, they were at the foul line, extended. So, yeah, tonight it was pretty, man. The second highest points in a half on the season, 78. 78 points in the first half. Should have got 80, but the Knicks scored 82 against Memphis, I think, in the second half of that game, back in January. What a pass from Cat on that one. My play of the game was the OG block and Delon Wright transition. Let me bring this one up. Yep. OG block, Delon Wright, fast break. Gets out, transition, finishes strong. That's an underrated skill set, to finish in transition like that. Mikal Bridges ain't great in transition. Hart as well can struggle a little bit at the rack. But Delon Wright's got that size too. Also, a quick update for you all on the Westchester Knicks. They started their playoff run. Unfortunately, they lost to the Maine, which is the Celtics G League outfit. Last night, Kevin McCullough got some garbage time tonight. But last night, the New York Knicks second round draft pick, Kevin McCullough, had an amazing first playoff game in the G. Finished with 21 points, 2 steals, 5 assists, 7 rebounds on 9 of 18. Efficient from the field. And 6 defensive rebounds, 7 total. So 21, 7, 6, and 2 for Kevin McCullough. Had 5 turnovers. Okay, a bit more on-ball reps in the G. The team lost. But yeah, great game from Kevin McCullough. And next season, it's going to be a great sight to see Kevin McCullough D up, play some hopefully regular rotation minutes for us next season. Moses Brown had a great game as well. 27 and 26. Unbelievable stat line that he's putting up right now. I mean, maybe he makes the roster next season. How about that? How about Kevin McCullough, Moses Brown, Marjon Beauchamp on the roster for next season? I think that'll be nice. Now the standings. Let me refresh. The New York Knicks will widen the gap on the 3 seed. 3 games. 3 games up on the Pacemakers. I think that'll go to 3.5. with today's win. If the Pacers lose, it'll go back to 4. With just 5 to play, and the Knicks have the tiebreaker on Indy as well. It's a lock. It's a wrap. The 3rd seed is ours, and we wait to see who we're going to play. But like I said, it's so tight between the Pistons and the Bucks. Half a game separates the two. They play each other in the final 2 games of the season. And I do think there's going to be motivation for the Milwaukee Bucks to win those 2 and face Indiana and avoid us. And I do think that the Pistons won't mind losing those 2 to face us. Let us know what you think. I think it's going to be so tight right now. On the Kevin Durant thing, CC says that for Durant, I can see a 3-way trade with the Timberwolves. You know what? I could see him staying out west as well, but I could see him also going to Houston. I could see him going to the Rockets, fam. They've got so many trade assets, man. Jalen Green's play's gone to another level. They've got Tari Eason, Jabari Smith they can trade. I know they'll probably try not to trade Thompson. They'll try to keep Thompson, Sengun together with a Durant. Maybe they even trade Jalen Green. But I think the Rockets can offer the best package, fam. Maybe the Grizzlies as well. The Grizzlies might be able to throw Jaren Jackson in the trade, maybe reluctantly. Maybe they throw Desmond Bane. Maybe Ja Morant, man. I think the rotation is going to be tightened up for the playoffs. It's 8 right now. Tibbs might go 8, but with less minutes, or he might go 7, which is going to be crazy. But look, right now, Pistons or Bucks, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Guys, the 3rd seed's ours. Indiana basically can't pass us. I think 1 more win will basically guarantee it. The Knicks will probably get 2, 3, 4 more wins. And I'll bring up the standing, the schedule for the rest of the season. The New York Knicks still have 5 to play. Phoenix, Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, back-to-back, and then Brooklyn. Fam, I do think we'll win one of the Boston or the Cleveland game. I just think it'll mean more to us, and they'll be resting some guys. Phoenix will win tomorrow. I'm going to predict that we probably beat Cleveland. I think Boston will probably be playing most of their rotation still, just because there's still a few games left. But I think by the time the Cleveland game hits, they'll be resting, man. They'll be resting Donovan Mitchell. They'll probably be resting Evan Mobley. And I do think that one's up for grabs, fam, in regards to getting that dub right now. But yeah, the playoff rotation, I think Tibbs is going to shorten the minutes. Maybe it's going to be Deuce, Shamet, and Mitch, right? He might cut Payne altogether, fam. But you got to get Delon Wright in there, man. I know defense wins games. Man, defense is so key. I love what Campaign's been able to do for us. But, he's 6'3". Delon Wright, 6'5". He can guard some wings on switches. The Knicks have been able to switch better on defense. One of the biggest issues against Boston is we try to fight over every single screen. And guys just get killed on those illegal screens from Al Horford and from Porzingis and from Luke Cornett. I'm going to bring this up again, and also the same applies for Jarrett Allen. Right, take a look at this, guys, if you haven't seen it already. The key is to switch or get over these screens, and Delon Wright, Deuce McBride are our best opportunities to fight over the screens. Now, with this, you obviously can't really play drop because, it's Derek White, Brown, Tatum, they're going to rise up and pull up off the dribble. But right now, when Al Horford sets those illegal picks, you ain't getting around them. So we need to switch. And Delon Wright, if he gets switched onto like Jason Tatum, or he gets switched onto Jaylen Brown, he's elite at getting his hands in the passing lane, stripping guys, getting steals, and coming up with loose balls as well. He's done it his whole career. So I think he deserves to get minutes. He can also, he's skinny. He can slither and creep over that screen, or do a better job at getting over that one, fam. And like I said, if the Knicks decide they want to switch everything, then the more switchable guys you have, the better. And Campaign just can't switch out onto to bigger guys. Delon Wright can do that somewhat. I think it's one of the best chances, and also, like I said, he can get out into the to the passing lanes. Johnny says, what more does Moses Brown have to do to get that call up? Part of the Red Sea. I think same could apply for TJ Warren, a lot of things, man. I feel like the Knicks appreciate him, it's fair to say. He's with the G League team, and every time he gets called up by a team, he returns to the Knicks G League team. So you would say there's an appreciation. Also, the Knicks have given him a two-way contract before as well. I think the biggest difference is they probably just feel like this guy's ahead of him, and both things can be true at the same time. I mean, the Knicks like Mitch, Huck Porty, Cat. They got Precious as well with his money. You can make the case where you just sign Moses Brown and have him just on the roster at least, and just have him on the bench. Maybe they're making plans for next season, hopefully. Because I'm a little worried about Huck Porty, guys. I'm worried about my guy a little bit. He's had 2 meniscus injuries in the last, I think, 12 months. It's fair to say. Also, he had the Achilles, which was 2 years back now. That's all good. No issues with the Achilles, in my opinion, right now. But the knees, the guy's big. He moves his feet. He shuffles. He was very active, getting up and down. This is the second meniscus situation, and it's looking like he's still a ways away, according to Tibbs. So we might not see Huck Porty until maybe the second round, maybe next season. I'm still happy that we have him. Hopefully he can be a nice backup for many years to come. Mitchell Robinson's contract situation will be interesting to monitor as well. But yeah, I think Moses Brown, let's see for next season. Let's see how it plays out. Like I said, guys, if you missed out, PJ Tucker's second year of the deal is non-guaranteed and a team option as well. So all the ingredients of maybe a trade, a recipe for a trade. Even if the Knicks picked up the option, the contract won't be guaranteed until January of next season. So the Knicks know what they're doing, man. The 2-year deal with PJ Tucker was nothing to sweat as well. Dirty Dancers in the house says it's time to stop acting like OG hasn't made a leap. 100%. 100%. I think the freedom, without a more ball dominant point guard, he's been able to get in a rhythm, but he's also been able to trust his game a lot more, getting into the paint, using his size. The 3-point ball has always been elite. The 3-point ball has been something that he can hang his hat on, but also getting those buckets at the rim, attacking those smaller opponents is key. So many teams attack us, and we just have to do a smarter job at attacking the other team. Like today, look at the paint touches, the paint buckets, all those restricted area and paint points is key. And OG Anunoby, the drive game, has been elite. And look, arguably OG's biggest swing skill was something to do with dribble, handle. He's always had a not so great handle, and if he was able to tighten that even more, He doesn't even need like a bag to the level of Kawhi. He doesn't even need hopefully that continues to develop. But even if he just tightened his handle and, get to the rim easier, I think that raises the ceiling for OG Anunoby. Today, he went to the line 5 times. I think so. The free throw attempts, even getting easy 5, 6 points, 7 points a game from just OG getting to the rack is big time. I mean, how often a team separated in a game, like between 4 to 6 points, and OG was 4 or 5 today at the basket. We don't get that if he's not aggressive, and we're not getting that from Mikal Bridges. 0 free throw attempts from our 6'6" wing. Right. People want to look at other ways to get buckets. Brunson has to shoulder the load a lot. Cat. Not many people talk about lack of free throws from Bridges, and what it means to get to the foul line. Hart always gets us to the foul line, gives us 5 attempts today. Cat always gets to the free throw line and should get to the free throw line even more. Gets 9 today. But look at everyone else. No one. Bridges, 0. Delon Wright, 0. Precious, 0 attempts. Campaign, 0 as well. And that's some heavy minutes. So, yeah, maybe that is key. We have to get to the foul line, fam. Get teams in foul trouble. Also, the playoffs are going to be very, very physical. Yeah, the Huck Porty situation is going to be a situation that it's going to be dependent on health, because I do think Huck Porty's got the talent to be the backup. But yeah, hopefully he can go at least 12 months without any lingering injuries and get a nice run at it all, fam. Interesting update that I'm going to bring up for you all as well, and that is relating to the New York Knicks second round draft pick. The New York Knicks might have another shot at picking up a diamond, with the Memphis Grizzlies sliding. The New York Knicks, as I refresh Tankathon, wait for all these ads to, here we go. The New York Knicks draft pick went from like 55, then to 53. Now it's up to 51. And this is just a mock draft from Tankathon, so don't really pay attention to the prospects. They got Tyrese Proctor there in the second round. I think he's going to go a bit higher. But Alex Tui is a name I'm looking out for as well. I know a lot about him, playing in the same league as Ariel Huck-Porty, the NBL in Australia. He's a team need. I think he would fit the backup 3-4 spot. But yeah, just by coincidence, he's there in pick 51. But yeah, Memphis, Huck-Porty was the 56th pick, 58th pick. McCullough was 56. And the New York Knicks have pick 51 as currently today. And so, yeah, the New York Knicks will be able to pick a player that maybe can fit their need. Maybe they go a big man. There's a couple of big men available. They got the European guy here as well. They had another center as well. This guy, out of Stanford. They had him mocked to the Knicks earlier as well. And so, yeah, I think they did well getting talent in regards to Huck-Porty, but we'll have to wait and see. Big Dave, what's up? Says PJ's contract makes sense now. Yeah. I think fans just have to trust the front office a bit more, as in just don't overreact when the report comes out. Just say, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what the plan is. Let's see how it plays out. Because yeah, they do a lot of things that surprise us, but they're also very future focused. And like I said, I won't be surprised if they're already planting seeds on terms of what they're going to do with some of the roster spots, for next season. One good thing to note is that the New York Knicks have the taxpayer mid-level, which is going to be 5.6 million roughly. You can get a player for that. You can get a player like, I mean, maybe a wing that's kind of, maybe a player that's younger than a Delon Wright, but a player that's kind of maybe surplus to a team's requirements. 5.5 million the Knicks could get. Yeah, we might have to root against the Grizzlies in that play-in, like Dirty says. I'm so looking forward to the playoffs. There's so many interesting storylines, especially out west. The Rockets have taken me by surprise how well they've been playing, and the Memphis Grizzlies have fallen down. Obviously, they got the drama with Ja Morant getting suspended, Taylor Jenkins getting fired as well. Dirty says, I wouldn't mind yet Proctor or Sion at all. So yeah, there's some value in this one. I think this class is deeper than last year. And if we were able to get Kevin McCullough and Ariel Hukporti, best believe that our best scouts in class are going to find, some bona fide talent. I don't see Proctor falling that far, but who knows? Maybe the Knicks draft pick can get up to 48. Maybe we package some cash considerations. We can get up to early 40s. Don't forget, the Knicks got cash considerations in the Delon Wright Jericho Sims trade, which I think confirmed by Fred Katz of The Athletic, confirmed to be $2 million. That's not small change, fam. So basically, we shipped Jericho Sims to Milwaukee. Not only did they give us Delon Wright, they said, here's $2 million, take it. Now, the $2 million doesn't count to the salary cap, but it's still revenue. It's still money in James Dolan's pocket. And so there's no reason we can't go to a team on draft night and say, hey, we're in pick 49. We like that pick 42. Let's swap, man. The other team might be like, hey, 42, 49, we'll take it. We'll take $2 million off your hands, and we'll swap picks. I think the Knicks always get creative on draft night, like you guys always know. Buzzer says it as well. Knicks fans, we are Knicks fans. We're panicking. Panicking is in our nature. I think PTSD over the years, just not knowing what's happening, especially with the injury front, Buzzer. I'm not going to lie. I don't really panic over transactions so much anymore because I believe in Brock Aller now, Leon, World Wide West, Rosas. There's just too many brains in that boardroom. But what I worry about, and what I'll always worry about, is medical. Is medical, fam. Right now, they are known to withhold a few details. Like I said, 4 to 6 weeks from Hukporti. We're at the 5-6 weeks now, and they say he's a ways away. Big Dave says Kevin McCullough Jr. is finally healthy. I'm looking forward to seeing him ball out for next season. Yeah, no doubt. I think health is just the only thing holding him back. Talent-wise, he's more ready than Pacome Dardier. He's more of a two-way player than Tyler Kolek. He slipped in the draft because the injury concerns as well. But I got no doubt he could be a rotation player for the future, whether it's next season or after that. The Knicks lost their first G League playoff game yesterday, but McCullough played really well. I'm going to be watching the rest of the Westchester Knicks in the postseason. Kevin McCullough got a couple of minutes tonight, which is, I think it's always good to see the rookie, even if it's just a minute or two, just, get repaid. I think for all the work he's put in. We'll see how that plays out. $2 million is petty cash to CT, says Buzzer. Man, if I had 2 milli, you might not see me anymore, fan. I'm just joking, man. I would not give up doing this. However, for James Dolan, it is petty cash, no doubt about it. Bondi says out for the year, says for Huck Porty. Yeah, I did see some vague. Was that the tweet, Dirty, or was that the Post Plus newsletter? Because I'm not subscribed anymore to the Post Plus, but I did see that he had a little scoop or an update on the Huck Porty situation on the newsletter. But yeah, I'm okay with it. Obviously, if then they need to really take it seriously because 2 meniscus in 12 months, they shouldn't rush him back. But obviously, Precious Achua is going to get his chance. So hopefully, no pouting. Hopefully, no bad body language. Precious Achua is going to get his chance. To earn minutes in the playoffs, and he's on an expiring contract. He's got everything to play for. Has Precious Achua. Now I don't know if he's going to get playoff minutes. If Tibbs tightens that rotation, I guess. And you guys let me know again. How big do you think the rotation will be? Will it be 7, 8, 9? But I think one of the biggest dependents on that will be how much is he planning to play Mitchell Robinson together with Karl Anthony Towns? Because I can guarantee if he plans to play Mitch and Karl Anthony Towns together, like significant amount of minutes, like maybe 10 to 15 plus minutes together, then that guarantees that Precious Achua is going to be in the rotation. Because you have to conserve energy and health for Mitch and Cat. And if those two are playing heavy minutes together, you're going to need to play a backup. You can't just stagnate Cat and Mitch's minutes. If you plan to play them together. So I think that will mean Precious gets that chance. However, at point guard, things are a little bit different now with Delon Wright. Like Dirty mentioned about the leap, OG's taken. Well, Delon Wright hasn't taken a leap, but I think the fan base and people have just been able to see how effective he can be still. He's only 32, so he ain't completely washed. And I think we've seen now the Knicks get the benefit of that trade with the Milwaukee Bucks. Like I said, the Knicks' success in the playoffs will be dependent on guarding the three, in my opinion, on the perimeter, because everything collapses after that. You got Karl Anthony Towns at the last line of defense, and then sometimes you got Mitch who can protect the rim. But if we can't guard the 3-point line and guard out on the perimeter, it's gonna cause a lot of havoc for our defense, and we might be either in a shootout or we might just be coming from behind. And so more guys that can switch on the pick and roll, guys who can fight over screens and be disruptive, is going to benefit our defense. And so I think it's basically a case of Cam v Delon. We know Cam can maybe get loose a bit more offensively, but there's no doubt in anyone's mind that Delon Wright is more disruptive defensively. We saw it on the road. The other game, Milwaukee, it started. We had the other great win. He played well against the Blazers. He played well against, even in the first half against Cleveland, when the Knicks were up by 15. I think you have to reward that. Big Dave says, if I had $2 million, I'd be doing it, but from a more exotic location. No doubt, fam, no doubt. I'd definitely be courtside. Courtside MSG Game 1 as well. We'd give out a few comps to the family as well. Stefan says, wait until we're at full strength. Mitch returning. Tomorrow, Deuce might be back, but we definitely know that JB is back tomorrow. So, look, I think Tibbs is probably going to go 8 in the playoffs, but I do think he'll shrink the minutes of the 8th guy. So it'll probably be Deuce, Mitch, and it'll probably be Landry Shamet, short minutes, like small minutes to give the wings a break. Or if Landry is out of the rotation, it'll be Mitch, Deuce, and Payne, I think. Because, I've been reading obviously a lot of coverage from the beat, and a lot of people are saying that Tibbs, according to his mentality, is that he sets on his rotation early in the season and he tells people, look, this is my rotation, I'm set it, and it takes a lot to usurp someone in the rotation. Now, how much has Delon Wright done to usurp campaign? It's a conversation at least. It's a conversation that needs to be had, but campaign was injured. It's not a situation where he took over campaign because Cam was struggling. Now that campaign's healthy, I think Tibbs will probably stick with him. And look, that has its benefits at times as well. The defense is going to tighten up in the playoffs. Maybe our bench scoring struggles a little bit. Campaign can offer the 3 ball off the bounce. He can get downhill. Maybe the ball doesn't move as freely as we're seeing right now when you have a Delon Wright, because the defense is going to tighten up. Yeah, you could make a case. You could make a case for both. I would still go Delon Wright over campaign because, again, it always goes back to the defense. It ain't like Delon Wright can't knock down a shot, but he's also a better defender than Cam. And so I think it comes down, to that for me, fam. But look, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But man, the lineups, like I said, Deuce, Delon Wright, OG, McHale, and Mitchell Robinson. That's a lineup I want to see, especially against Boston and Cleveland, fam. Because you've still got shot making. You've got Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby. You've got Mitchell Robinson, Delon Wright as more of the defensive specialists, and so I think that's switchable. It's it's a lineup where it can contain the perimeter as well. It can contain the paint. Johnny says Huck party over. I'm not letting go, man. I'm not letting go for this season just yet. I think there's a chance. Hey, I'm going to say it right now. We get to the second round. We're getting to the second round, and so if you look at the calendar right now, I mean, playoffs don't start until what, April? The final game of the season is what, April 14, I think. Bring up the schedule right now. April 13 against Brooklyn. And then there's what, a week? There's about a week after that until the actual round 1 begins because of the play-ins. So let's say our first round doesn't start until, Saturday 19 or Sunday the 20. And then there's what, a week and a half at least of that series. So we're looking at a chance maybe a month from today, a month from now. Huck Porty is a ways away, but maybe a month. We'll see what happens. But Stefan Bondi did allude to the fact that his year could be over. We'll see how that plays out. Johnny says perimeter D is the Knicks' weakest link. Definitely. And that's our biggest area of improvement for the playoffs. And, Delon Wright's been helping us a lot in that situation. Also transition. He can get a steal, get our offense going. The size is another big thing. Johnny, pause. But they don't teach size. And you look at Delon Wright finishing at the basket there. Maybe if that's campaign, maybe he gets the shot blocked. Look, that guy almost gets there for the block. But again, Delon Wright 6'5", and he does a good job to finish that one on the break. If that's campaign, that definitely gets blocked. So I think physicality, size, and wingspan is something that we need to pay attention. One thing that Tibbs has got to look at is, we all know he's an analytics guy as well, so he's going to be looking at lineups, possibly how things work together. He's going to be looking at rotations, but also data with the defensive numbers since Delon Wright has been in the rotation. And also, I mean, this is a true indication. He started the man, all this time that, Brunson and Deuce have been out and Campaign has been out. He's been starting Delon Wright. Today, Campaign was healthy and he still started Delon Wright. And we also stymied Atlanta with the 3-point ball. And that's something that we need to do in the playoffs. Yours truly says 52 dub easy. Yeah, I think so. I think Brooklyn. I think we'll win one of the Cleveland-Boston games. We'll win tomorrow, and I think 3 more dubs at least. What do we do against that Detroit one? I wouldn't mind tanking that game. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of just play the young kids. Use that game and say, hey guys, you might not be part of the playoff plan, but sell out. This is your final game of the regular possible of your season, fam. You're going to get heavy minutes, and then tomorrow against Cleveland, the starters are going to come back. Right. Let's say the Knicks beat Phoenix, whether we win or lose against Boston, that first game versus Detroit, we don't know if we're going to play Detroit or not. And so gamesmanship, I would sit Cat, I would sit OG, I would sit Bridges, I'd play Deuce because he needs to get, he needs to shake off the rust. I would play Delon Wright, I would play McCullough, I would play Dardier, I would play Tyler Kolek, and I would say, hey guys, sell out in this one. This is your audition for next season as well. And then we avoid showing Detroit any, who cares if they get any confidence or whatever. It's not going to be against our guys. And then we bring everyone back and we beat Cleveland at MSG, get some confidence, and then we beat Brooklyn. Like yours truly says, we finish with 52, maybe 53. Roberto says next year roster 10-15 looking solid. I think the aim is to address some areas that we need, some creation offensively, maybe some more shooting, and some more switchable bigs. I think switchable 3-4-5s. Guys out on the wing. I think McCullough will help that a lot. If you can trade PJ Tucker along with maybe somebody else, you sign and trade Precious maybe. You use the $5.5 million taxpayer and get a wing coming in. Maybe Dardier takes a major leap. Once again, I'm watching the G League playoffs as well, and I'll keep everybody up to date. But from yesterday, we have the box score from the G. Kevin McCullough put up 21, 7, 6, and 2 steals. 21, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and was a 9 of 18 from the field in what was a playoff type game, playoff intensity. So, and Moses Brown continues to ball out. I would bring him up tomorrow next season on a roster spot, fam. I'm not gonna lie. With Huck Porty's knee, I would bring Moses Brown in for next season. Give him a unguaranteed contract for the year. Chuma Okeke got picked up halfway through the game, fam. He only played 17 minutes. He got picked up by Cleveland. I see a lot of people freak out. I think Chuma Okeke is a good developmental player. If you want to say he could play as a 9th or 8th guy, I could see it. But also, I'm not worried so much because Okeke has been with us all season, and he's had ups and downs. He's still very raw, but he got cut by Philadelphia as well. So if we didn't see enough to give him a guaranteed spot, Philadelphia didn't see enough to give him a guaranteed spot, I think he still has to earn it. Maybe we want to prioritize some of our other guys, McCullough, Dardier. We have guys. Tyler Kolek needs minutes. Beauchamp. I would definitely give Beauchamp a full roster spot next season, or just maybe keep him on the two-way again, and see what he looks like. We have guys. We have guys that we need to develop. If we bring in Okeke, how many of these guys are getting development under Thibodeau in regards to Dardier, McCullough, Kolek, Beauchamp? I mean, there's just a lot of guys that need minutes. So yeah, I see a lot of people upset that Okeke got picked up by Cleveland, but I'm really not worried, man. I'm really not worried about that one. If I'm worried, I'll let you know. But, Okeke's still got some development to do. And the Knicks got some young guys right now. And so, yeah, early tip today, the Knicks took care of their business, dominating on the home stretch now with 5 remaining, 52 wins in sight. The Vegas over-under was 53, I believe. So the Knicks still have a chance if they win out. But obviously, all eyes lead to tomorrow night. The Caps return. Jalen Brunson, in the nick of time, will qualify for All NBA if he plays 4 more games, coming back tomorrow with 5 to play. Maybe he rests on the second of a back-to-back, the Cleveland-Detroit one, and then he gets those 4 games in. First team All-NBA maybe, second. But the captain was an all-star and is with us back now tomorrow against Phoenix. Hopefully we chop up another big dub. Phoenix are struggling. OG's on a tear. But I would look to rest somebody tomorrow night, man. Maybe rest OG, maybe rest Cat. Mitch will be back. Deuce will be back. And Brunson will be back as well. I want to see more Delon Wright. Let's see what happens with that. But Campaign's first game back. We'll see how these other 5 games play out, fam. Peace to the chat. Guys, you are big time legends in the streets as well. You guys are fired up. I'm hyped for the playoffs now. Detroit, Milwaukee, whoever it's going to be, our eyes are going to be glued to those 2 final regular season games where they play each other as well. I'm off to watch some of the Final Four right now. The NCAA tourney. Let me refresh, see what's the lowdown between Florida and Auburn. And it's a tight game. Auburn up 29-25 with 7 to play in the half. Now let's get it tomorrow night, everyone. Peace.